Harizah. Harizah will actually present a speech on, okay, let me read out the, oh, sorry for that. Okay, Harizah will actually present a speech on the pathways of engaging humor, level 1, evaluation and feedback, number 2. And her speech title is, why do I need to get vaccinated if I can still be infected? Not convinced about the vaccine? Okay, here are some valid questions that we should be asking instead. Before we go to Harizah, I have actually asked her how does she want to be introduced today, and she has told me that she's a little bit of conspiracy theorist and also a devil's advocate, and also believe in the saying that trust in nothing, question everything. Now I would like to welcome our speaker, Harizah. Harizah, why do we need to get vaccinated if we get infected? Why do we need to get vaccinated if we don't? We get infected. Over to you.
Thank you, Herlina. Good afternoon, everyone. So I have chosen this topic to research on, which I hope is still informative and still relevant to everyone today. Now, just some disclaimer, I am not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, so whatever I'm sharing today is based on my understanding and interpretation of the information readily available from the internet. And I have done my best to choose from the most credible and reputable of sources. And most of the information I'm sharing today comes from the World Health Organization, WHO official website, and also from the CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention website. Okay, so let's first look at the exact definition of a vaccine, because I feel that we talk about the vaccine a lot, but nobody really talk about the obvious things, like what is a vaccine? So a vaccine is basically a way to protect your body from harmful infections and diseases. So vaccines actually reduce our risk of getting diseases by working with our body's natural defenses to build protection. So the vaccine does not work on its own. It interacts with our own antibodies and our own natural defenses. Because when our body comes into contact with viruses, right, it will normally in a healthy body, it will recognize the virus as a threat, and it will respond to the virus by creating natural defenses and antibodies to build resistance to the infection and also to make our immune system stronger. So when we get vaccinated, what the vaccine does is, number one, it trains our immune system to recognize that this is a threat. Okay, and then it will respond to the virus by creating natural defenses, and it will build resistance, like how our body will naturally do if it's exposed to a disease. However, because vaccines actually contain weakened form of the virus, it does not cause our body to develop the full-blown infection and all the other complications that come with the infection. So actually, you can build immunity if you get infected by the virus, but the risk of building immunity that way is that you will get all the complications that come with it, meaning you have to suffer through the infection. So with the vaccine, you don't have to do that. Okay. So when we get the vaccine, now we all know, okay, next point, we all know that with the COVID-19 pandemic, more attention is being paid on vaccines. I mean, everybody has now become experts on vaccine all of a sudden, okay? So I enjoy seeing discussions and I enjoy seeing healthy discourse on current issues, but what I don't enjoy is seeing misinformation, half-truths, and just fake news being spread without any proper fact-checking. And also as a mother, I hate hearing the same question being repeated over and over and over again when an answer is already readily available. So now my speech today, I will try to answer a series of questions that I don't think have been directly or properly or formally addressed. Meaning, like as I mentioned just now, the obvious questions have not been answered, at least not in a formal or open manner. So the title of my speech today, and why is it written in such a way, if you look at the agenda, because I feel like it's such a silly question to ask at this stage, you know, and people are still asking this question. If I'm already vaccinated, how come I can still be infected? You know, that's how it's supposed to be read. This is why it's written like that. So hopefully this speech I am able to provide some clear answers, or at least I'm able to lead you to the right direction to look for the right answers, so people can finally stop asking this question. All right, so number one, why are people still testing positive after being vaccinated? So back when the vaccine was first introduced, we were told to give 2 weeks, right? We were told to give 2 weeks for the vaccine to properly activate itself in our body, in a manner of speaking. So why we are still testing positive even after we're vaccinated? Number one is because the body hasn't had the time to properly make the antibodies to fight the virus. But number two, now that most of us have been vaccinated the past 5-6 months, the vaccine does not protect us against infection. We can still be infected even if we are vaccinated. Okay, the only thing the vaccine does is that it prevents the symptoms from developing into severe conditions and also to avoid hospitalization. So the function of the vaccine is not to stop people from being infected, but to lessen serious infection. And also, the vaccine is not a cure. Nobody, I don't think so, any of the vaccine makers, any of the researchers or scientists have ever said that vaccines will cure the virus. That is not the function of a vaccine. So you can still be infected even if you are vaccinated. The function of the vaccine is to lower the possibility of the virus being transferred from one person to the next. So the vaccines are not supposed to stop infection, but lessen infection. Hence, why we have herd immunity. So herd immunity is, it takes a while to develop because we want to lessen the number of infections until eventually no one can infect other people because of the vaccine. Okay, so which also leads to the question, how is the virus transmitted? And I think this is another question that not a lot of people have seriously asked an answer for. How are viruses transmitted? So how do people get infected from the virus? So virus is transmitted through something called viral loads. I don't know if you have heard this before, but basically when we are infected, right, we have virus particles in our body. Okay, the germs are in form of particles in our body. So these are what the test kits detected. You know, when we do the RTK, the home test kits, it will detect the virus load in our body. Okay, so when you are positive, it means there is enough virus particles or viral load in your body for that kit to detect. Okay, and which also means there is enough viral load in your body to infect other people, which is why you are positive, basically. It means you are positive in transmitting it to other people. So these particles are found in the vapor that we exhale, that we breathe out, from any other bodily secretion, like the mucus if we sneeze, okay, or from the saliva when we cough, all right? Which is why we wear masks. Makes better sense now, doesn't it? That is why we wear masks, because we want to protect, okay, we want to put a layer of protection between our secretions and our air vapors from people out there. Okay, so if you are infected, even just breathing, you are actually spreading the virus particles, because the particles comes from your body, because it has already multiplied in your body, because you are the host now. You are the host for them to breathe more particles. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that these are information that we should be sharing instead. Okay, and not just keep asking the same question over and over again. So we want to prevent the virus because we want to stop mutations. Mutations will mean that there is a possibility that the virus will become resistant to vaccines after this. So I actually have a lot more to share. I can't see the timer actually, so I'm sorry if I'm over time. Thank you. Back to you, Herlina.
Thank you, Harizah, for such a beautiful speech. You know what? I want to invite you to come with me and go to my anti-vax friends and tell them this straight to their face. You know, it's really difficult to explain this thing to them. It's a tough challenge.